Welcome to CAM Matters, Condos, Co-ops, HOAs, and beyond. Betsy Barbieux is an informational leader in Florida on community association living, rights, and obligations. She is an expert on the rights and obligations of owners as well as the association. If you live or are planning to live in the state of Florida, there's a good chance you'll be part of a community association. And by the end of this show, you'll know a little bit more about community associations and why they matter.
We're so glad that you're here. Listen, this is going to be a show that I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to turn away from. This is a rags to riches story. It is such an encouraging, positive message about what services like Betsy offers can do. Bob Lloyd manages Brittney Estates. And let's just set the foundation. What was the culture like before you started getting involved? And kind of set what he was doing and how things were going.
Well, and let me go back even further because Bob was involved first. Mm-hmm. And you came and went.
I did.
He was the manager. Things were so bad that he quit.
Okay.
He quit.
We certainly can relate to that. When there's chaos, finally you give everything that you can, and the time's up.
And what made it so bad, and we talked through a lot of that.
Yes, Betsy did a fantastic job with helping me as a new manager develop skills to be able to deal with things.
But there was a divided board, and it was pure chaos, hatefulness. There was an assault. There, it was just not good.
Right.
And the board some of the board had been to board training, and Bob knew what he was supposed to do. Bob is an excellent administrator, policies and procedures kind of person. He comes from that background, and he kept wanting to make some policies, procedures. Let's figure out how we're supposed to do this. This isn't right. Your board meetings aren't right. Your shareholder meetings aren't right. And some of the board members listened to some of the things that I said in board training.
Betsy, I'm going to stop you real quick because before we start getting into the beauty of what happened, I want you to paint a picture. Why were emotions running so high? What were some of the issues that were creating, when you say chaos and turmoil, I want to show the process of moving from this. Why were the emotions so high? What were some of the things?
There was just so much diversity that...
the difference of opinion, I don't know how much to say. There's a difference of opinion and an unwillingness to play in the sandbox.
Okay. So people had their mind set and they didn't want to be
This is a 9-member board.
Okay.
This isn't a 3 or 5 or 7-member board. It's a 9-member board. And I see it all the time. Board members get on the board because they have an agenda. They don't like the manager. They don't like the lawn company. They think that the assessments are too high, so I'm going to reduce the assessments. Whatever the personal agendas are. And I don't know, is it emotion?
I think in the case that we're discussing was almost like a schoolyard bully type situation.
Okay. That would be
That's
that.
great.
Yeah,
this is really good
that would
insight
be,
to know.
Which is why I also have a class on bullies.
Okay.
Because we do have bully board members, and if you really aren't going to be a team player, then you need to quit. And this team player, this person was not going to be a team player, so the owners, the shareholders, recalled the board member, so they voted him off the board. They ended up with...
Problem over, right?
No, because we have the personalities are gone, but we still have no processes and procedures, which is frustrating Bob.
All right, so
Yes,
Bob,
as a manager.
pick up from there. What were you wanting to implement and where was the resistance coming from? Or the lack of knowledge or willing to hear?
Actually, a lot of us just very basics. Reviewing rules and responsibilities. Some of the rules were outdated. looking at basic procedures and how you communicate with the shareholders. How do you communicate with the residents?
Okay.
So it was real basic stuff that needed to be implemented.
And board meeting procedures.
Some of our board meetings
3 and 4
lasted
hours long.
3 or 4 hours.
What?
And,
Wow.
There's no need.
and with the new procedures that we have in place, our board meetings are down to 45 minutes to an hour now.
That's incredible.
And the shareholders did not understand their role at a board meeting. And we went through several brief little training sessions of this is what the board's role it really is.
Okay.
And this is what the shareholders' role is and is not. They wrote out policies and procedures for that, how and when the shareholders can speak at the meeting, where they stand, how they let it be known that they want to be recognized to speak. We rearranged the board tables the way they are supposed to be, so that they were not in a panel style.
Okay.
They were sitting in a square.
Okay.
Bob and I are a dynamic part of that board meeting. And our president, your president, and the other board members will defer to you.
Yes.
Will defer to a suggestion that we make in the board meeting.
So when you saw that this was chaos, Bob reached out to you. You went in as a consultant. You kind of hovered. Could you see an array of problems that were going to need to be? How did you begin to tackle what was happening?
Mainly it was the meetings. My first role was to chair the shareholders' annual meeting, I believe. No, my first role was to chair the recall board meeting.
Yes.
And what had been happening is that board members who were not team players were interrupting the president as he was trying to direct the meeting. And the president turned the chair over to me during that board meeting.
Okay.
And
You're not intimidated. You're not afraid.
the bully, the faction, several board members, tried to interrupt me as I was conducting that board meeting. Now, they're board members still because they haven't been voted. We're certifying this recall, so they're still there.
Okay.
And I told them that was not on, whatever, they brought up something that was going to take us off in a
Tangent.
different direction. And I said, we're not discussing it, it's not on the agenda.
Okay. They didn't
And
like that.
I don't think anybody ever said that.
Right.
But the amazing thing was that the shareholders who were in the room, do you remember what they did?
They clapped.
They clapped.
Wow. Wow. They wanted law.
Somebody
and order. They
wanted order.
Control.
They clapped.
They wanted change, but they did not know how to
But
go
they didn't
about
know
the
how to do
process.
it.
Right.
But I told the board member, basically, you're out of order. It's not on the agenda. We're not going to discuss that. And I moved right on to the next agenda item. And the board member was recalled. The others resigned. And new board members were elected. And I tell you what, if there was such a thing as a perfect board, this is it.
Let's take a break here because now we're moving into the transformation of what is now a beautiful, perfect situation. So we'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new career? Do you have skills or interest in management, real estate, construction, maintenance, accounting, strategic planning, project management, budgets, human resource management, lawn and landscaping, pool services, or any other expertise needed to operate a community association? If you do, community association management could be for you. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Florida Community Association Management continues to grow. Career opportunities abound.
Welcome back to the show. We've been talking about Bob Lloyd, manager of Brittney Estates, and reaching out to Betsy about helping to come in and create some law and order among chaos of the board that was happening. And we heard, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, literally, like hearing how chaotic and tumultuous the situation was. And we're now moving into the other side, transformation of this being really like the perfect
I am so
situation.
proud of this board. I am so proud of
yeah.
Bob.
Yeah.
I am so proud
So
of Bob. I
what
mean,
is-
he has
what did
stuck
do?
with it.
What did he do right?
Well, he writes really well. And so he's written all these policies and procedures for how owners speak at the meetings, how and when, how the board relates to each other. There was an issue with how do you get something on the agenda? What if a shareholder wants something on the agenda?
Okay.
And he writes very well. He comes from a policies and procedures background. So we need a policy for this, we need a policy for that. And so they developed a policy for how a shareholder can get something on a board meeting agenda.
Okay.
Because normally, I mean, shareholders don't drive agendas.
Right.
Board members drive the agenda.
Right.
But because of so many requests, instead of just saying, no, you don't do that, Bob created a policy.
That's
Do
great.
you want to tell them what it is?
It's very simple. The shareholder emails the office, me directly, and then I forward that information to my board members. And we need an X number of board members to approve that would be appropriate for the agenda.
Okay.
So the manager approves and
And four
4 board
Four.
members.
4 out of the 9.
Four
Yes.
out of the 9.
Four, four board members and myself approve that as an appropriate item for agenda. It goes on. If it does not get approved by the 4 board members, then I notify that resident that this did not make the agenda.
Okay. Very good.
And some of those things that shareholders want on the agenda are not board issues, they're management issues.
They can be
They're-
handled before the
They
board
can be
meeting.
handled outside of a board meeting, which is usually violations and maintenance, is usually what owners want on an agenda, but that's not a board topic.
Right. So it sounds like you came in, you gave some structure. Bob was incredibly coachable and took.
So was
your
the board.
instruction. And the board.
The board
But
was
it
very
starts at the
coachable.
top, and I can see that there was a calmness and there was an order to Bob's strategy. So I want you to talk about, what did that feel like to know that you had somebody like Betsy to be able to go, listen, this is
Oh,
the way.
no. She's coming to our meeting today. Oh, no.
Y'all better be good. Yeah. But what was that like? How did that feel?
Actually, for me, working alongside of Betsy's been a dream. Because she is actually, I went through her board training, not her board training, but I went through her CAM training
You
program.
went through the CAM training. And you've been to board training,
And
too.
I've been to board trainings as well. Anytime I have a new board member coming on, they go to board training.
Mine.
I feel it very strongly that as the manager, I need to accompany and be along with that board member.
Wow.
That way, if they have questions, I can answer them right then and there, and they don't have to wait.
Wow. I mean, is this like a prize manager for you also? I mean, my goodness, you care so much. you know?
He does.
Yeah.
This is my family.
Yeah, he does. He's an on-site manager, which is different than me or a lot of others being a portfolio manager. So he gets to really know his residents. He gets to know the shareholders. Takes them to court if it drives them around if they need to, if they don't have a driver's license and have to go to court. I
A
mean,
lot of above and beyond.
He goes above and beyond, but.
So what are you seeing as the results? What are the results of having a cooperative board or manager? You know, what kind of things are getting accomplished now that weren't?
You want to list
Well,
off your projects that you did last year and this
summer,
year?
I completed 14 major projects within the community because we had the cooperation of not only just the manager, but we had cooperation from the board, from our shareholders, and we've actually been able to elevate the community to a whole different level with that cooperation.
The number of projects that he got done last summer and this summer, because I've been with him as a consultant about a year and a half,
About a year and a half.
almost 2. And the projects he's gotten done are amazing, and they needed to be done. Now, I know the board gets annoyed with me. They are so well off financially. They have done a good job. Bob's done a great job on the budget. The board has done a good job of implementing it, and they have money. And so at the board meetings, I say, spend the money. Spend the money. You've got the reserves. Spend the money. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. And Bob is, and they're letting Bob say next, and he's getting them fixed.
One of the big things that the board, or one of my big comments for the board, is no more Band-Aids. We need to fix it and fix it correctly and not put a Band-Aid on it.
Do it right. Don't cheap out. And they've got, this community has the money to do it.
That's great.
And I can't imagine ever special assessing for anything.
And a lot of the Band-Aids been put on over the years, in the last year and a half, have been ripped off and have been repaired.
And it just raises the share price for the shareholders. And it raises the value for everybody.
We got a good leader over a good leader, and this is what can happen. So, well, do you have any final thoughts, Betsy, on this topic?
No, I just have loved working with Bob and with the board. I just can't be more proud of them.
And Betsy's a dream for me.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, share this information. We're so glad that you're enjoying the shows. And just so important to get this information out. If you are in the CAM community or you're interested in it, contact Betsy. She'll help you out. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next show.
Thank you for listening to CAM Matters. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Information provided on this show is general in nature and does not constitute legal advice. Please contact a licensed attorney for your specific situation.